It's got that honey.
We're live, Matt.
Ow.
We're live.
What?
We're live.
Oh, we are.
Yes.
Okay.
Just letting you know. Letting you know.
I'm not feeling good about these headphones and this microphone.
Well, better than the other microphone.
I gotta do something. No, this is the bad microphone. They're all bad.
I thought you switched back.
No.
Oh.
You know what? Let me
Don't switch like you did last week, because that didn't work at all. Remember, it was worse last time.
No, just give me a second, because I'm gonna change it from my hub, like, to directly into my computer.
Okay. All right.
Hold on.
Making me nervous. All right. I'm still getting the live stream. We are live. Just clearing the YouTube. Your current resolution is 1920 by 1080, which is not optimal. It's not?
Ready? Ready. That's 1 2 1 2.
Getting the Facebooks ready to go. That's alright, I'm still posting the things.
Good.
Come on. There we go. Ooh-wee. Alright, Facebook is good to go. I got my chat here. We got Chris. Hey, Chris. Chris H, always first. Swabru Patil, yo. Jason, gobble. Tesla Rock, what up? Alright. Alright, let's put our faces up on the screen and stuff.
Test 1 2
There's
1
us.
2.
We are live.
Test 1 2. Hopefully this microphone doesn't kill me.
Oops.
Test 1 2.
You good to go? You feeling good? Excellent connection, according to my YouTube now, so.
Alright.
Alright.
That signal.
We got, well, look, we got the chat working automatically. I didn't have to refresh it. That's good.
Ooh.
Look at that. Hello. Fernando, Mohammed. Alright. I think we're good. Is everybody ready to start recording?
I am rolling.
I know I'm ready. Yeah. Episode 210. I can't believe it.
Wow.
I should probably check my signal.
Wow.
Check. 1 2 1 2. Turn off the metronome. 1 2. Hey, check. That's good. Tell me if you can hear this. 1 2. Hey, check. Did you hear that?
Yep.
Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Making sure. And yes. All right. I am rolling. Everybody else rolling?
Yes, I am rolling.
Sarup says he's dyslexic and always reads Nvidia.
Thanks for putting that in my head. Now
yeah,
I'm
I know,
read
right?
It that way.
It happens a lot, don't worry.
See, now you need to get sponsored by Nvidia.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right?
Be like, I'll change my name.
Yeah, change your name. Free graphics cards for life.
Right. That's funny.
Okay. Everybody rolling?
Yep.
Okay. We're going to do a sync for the audio. It'll be 1 2 3 clap. 1 2 3. All right.
Beautiful.
All right. Sage is in the chat. What?
I miss you, Sage.
God, I miss Sage. All right. One more sip of my coffee and we'll get going here.
Good luck with that.
Oh yeah. All right.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim.
All right.
Here we go.
Starting off great.
What up and welcome to another Mograph Mocast. I'm Dave.
I'm Matt, and joining us all the way from Portugal, Nidia Dias. I said that right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hi, everyone.
And Mograph is a supplement to our site, mograph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other Mograph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the man. You can email us, info@mograph.com. Let us know what you think about the show. Send us your topic ideas, guest ideas, questions, comments,
you got a guest
grievances.
you want to hear from?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Let us know. We've got quite a list lined up for the rest of the year. It's going to be a lot of fun, and just some week wrap up we're going to do real quick, and then get into it. It is going to be a short show today, so by that I mean hour and a half,
Maybe
something like that. That's short, right? We got a lot of holiday videos and things that we're working on here locally.
Yes.
So
Tis the season.
Tis the season to make that money. So we're gonna, we got to do this and get back to work. So just a couple week wrap-up things. We did not have a show last week for once. We decided to take Thanksgiving week off. Feels like it's been forever since we've done a show. So
I disagree.
It's weird. It was nice to have that extra day, though, but we did not get a chance to talk about the fact that we did the Colorado meetup. So we did that. That was a lot of fun. We went to the motion design, or the 3D design plus motion tour in Colorado. Are there any dates left for that at this point, or is it over?
There are.
I want to say there's one or two more.
There's one tonight. If you're listening to this live, in DC.
It's DC
I believe.
on the 2nd. Yes, DC,
Yeah.
and then Miami is going to be on the 6th. And we will be talking later about our late January, early February event. I need to go start figuring that out this afternoon. And then what else as far as events? There was that. We had the beer meetup. I want to say, I swear almost 200 people showed up to that. That was really
that beer
fun.
meetup was fun in Denver.
Fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what it is, but Beeple wants me to go with him on kind of a research trip for something.
For an event.
Yeah.
A possible event.
But it's a research trip, so we'll just call it a Beeplecation.
Oh gosh.
Right? And so might go on a Beeplecation with Beeple and do a little research there. Also, we had Thanksgiving here in the States, and a couple other things. We have a new Camp Mograph sponsor, and I don't know.
Actually, let's just go
if you
over
want to go
all
over
the
all the
right now,
sponsors at this
because
point.
we haven't announced all of them.
Okay.
Some of them haven't signed their paperwork, but whatever. We love them anyway.
We know
and if they
it'll
back
happen.
out, then they back out, and they won't.
We know they won't.
Yeah. But as far as the Camp Mograph sponsorship, super excited. The Village sponsors this year, we're excited to have back on board Maxon, of course, who the fine makers of Cinema 4D and Redshift. Then we've got Octane Render, which is fantastic. We love Jules. We love all the people over at Otoy. Thanks for sponsoring that Village. And then excited, our new Village sponsor for this year, Video Copilot.
Oh,
so super
yeah.
excited to have Andrew Kramer and all the people over at Video Copilot on board. So the Village sponsors, they come with a couple tickets. So who knows? Maybe Andrew Kramer might be coming to Camp Mograph. I don't know. I
never know.
I can't say for sure, but yeah. So, and then one of our newest sponsors, one of our gold sponsors, it's a studio up in Portland, Minimal Massive. we're super excited to have them on board. They do fantastic work. You can check them out at minimalmassive.tv. They've done a lot of really, really cool stuff, and it's great to have a local studio, supporting local events like this. Even it's local for them, it's worldwide for us, but it's super cool to have another studio on board. So yeah. Camp Mograph, in case you're forgetting, tickets go on sale April 20th, so make sure and put them on your calendar, because it's going to be a fantastic event.
It's 420, man. You don't even need to put it on your calendar. You're just going to know.
Yeah, you'll just know. You'll be like, wait, I know what I'm supposed to do. The second you pick up that first bowl, you're going to be like, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do.
Before you forget, do that first. Good Lord. You're
gonna pick up your lighter, and then you're gonna be like, wait a second, I'm supposed to do something. I know I'm supposed to do something. It's 420.
I can remember it. Just give me a second.
I just need to get high.
Oh man. So
yeah.
So make sure that you keep that in the back of your head. Remember, that's going to happen. That's going to be during NAB, I believe. So
yeah. It'll be the second day of NAB, because NAB is actually starting on a Sunday this year. So I've heard that a lot of the events and stuff like that are kind of like shifting. So I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure.
I've talked to a lot of people.
80% sure.
Yeah, no, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and so far it does seem like the general consensus is everybody is shifting all their events and everything, back a day or forward a day, whatever you call it.
If you normally come in on a Saturday, I would recommend coming in on a Friday.
Yes.
Which stinks, because that's more expensive tickets.
But we are going to try and do a live show.
Super early Saturday. Come in super early Saturday. That would be those. Actually, the super early Saturday ones are way cheap.
Yeah.
Of course, it's Vegas. Everything's cheap anyway.
That's true.
Except for
relatively
bottles of water.
Or parking.
Or food.
Yeah. So
getting there is cheap.
Because I know you're going to spend that money.
Cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nidia,
everything else is expensive.
Nidia, have you been to NAB ever before in the States?
No, never. Only been this year to IBC in Amsterdam.
Yeah, I was watching your IBC talk a few weeks ago. Yeah. They need to have you out to NAB.
I know, for sure.
I'll talk to Matthias.
Come on, Matthias, let's do this.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure we're going to be partying it up as usual.
Yep.
And all right, just a couple other things for the week real quick. I wanted to wrap up here before we get to the good stuff. The retro dither plugin. We talked about this a while back, and I could not remember who recommended it, and I finally figured out it was, who was it? Brandon Parvini who recommended it. And I had a problem with it that nobody else apparently had, and I just wanted to put this out there. I might have talked about it on the show last week, actually, or a couple of weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah. I remember you talking about it. Like, you kept on getting just like black screens.
Yeah,
and stuff, right?
Yeah, just random. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't, and so Brandon actually had a suggestion that I mess with some of my like CUDA settings and things like that for After Effects. And while that wasn't it, it actually kind of led me down the correct path, which was that you have to go into After Effects if you have more than one video card, or go into your NVIDIA control panel and select just one card. And I'm pretty sure it has to be the card that's powering the monitor that you're on, and make sure that that is set for OpenGL for just that one card and not all your cards. Which the whole thing is I got 2080s on the box, right? But I have a 1060 powering the monitors so that they're, they can go do their own thing or whatever. And I was like, well, now I'm not going to have any 1080 power on my After Effects. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I really don't care if I'm using a 1060 on After Effects, Yeah. And the cool part is I can render in Cinema 4D, and I can go over to After Effects and work on things without any conflict.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I don't render with my 1060 because it doesn't have enough VRAM. So,
right.
But that's what the problem was. So if anybody has that problem, check out your OpenGL settings. Also, the Grayscale Gorilla 40% off sales tomorrow. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Got a little ding in my inbox this morning. So make sure you check that out.
I did get a ding as well as 800 other Cyber Monday emails.
Dude, right?
Oh my gosh.
What we got? We got like, Mitch Myers has got 80% off.
Black Friday and stuff. It's like I literally probably have 300 emails a day.
It's nuts. There's
It's good to know. It's good to know which ones to unsubscribe.
Yeah. Well, I subscribe to everyone on my. I've got a throwaway email list. You know, like, but I've been using it for probably 15 years now. Maybe no, 20 years now.
Jeez.
It was my very first email address, and I use that to sign up for everything. And it's like, man.
Yeah,
you gotta go through and like unsubscribe from everything.
You're still getting emails for things that you're subscribed to that don't even exist anymore.
Right. AOL online.
Yeah, AOL subscriptions.
Yep.
And what was I? Oh, Mitch Myers. He has like 80% off. I know there's like a Kit Bash sale. I don't know if it's Black Friday or Cyber Monday or both, but there was Kit Bash. There was Pixel Lab one I saw this morning. Who else?
It's dumb for them to just do Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Like, they just need to do a week-long sale, or the weekend sale.
Yeah.
Instead of differentiating it from each other, because most of these companies I've seen, they're just like, oh, this is the holiday sale or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, just give people time. I mean, I don't really get anything done on Black Friday. I don't do shopping on Cyber Monday. Usually doing a show.
Dude.
But
Black Friday is the worst.
Yeah, it's the worst.
I went to Target to try and buy something. You don't want to do that.
No, dude, you do the pickup. You do the parking lot pickup at Target. They bring it out to your car.
All right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well,
it's awesome.
I'm dumb.
Yeah. So those TCL televisions, man, everybody wants those televisions this year. They're so cheap.
I realized, so I installed a TV into my spare bedroom and came to the realization yesterday that TVs are so cheap, I now have a TV in every single bedroom in my house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's so cheap over here. Like, so I got a 50-inch TCL, 4K, HDR, with built-in 4K Roku for $260.
Yep.
And my ex-wife got a TV too. She got a 75-inch 4K, same brand and everything, just the 75-inch for $700. Yep. And I know that's like still a lot of money, but like compared to what it was, I mean, that would have been like a $10,000 TV back in the day, right?
Yep.
Man.
At least a couple thousand. $700 is nothing.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, so tons of sales going on. Make sure you check those out. We're not really doing a sale. We don't sell stuff much, and we just...
AE Scripts, if you use Cyber right now, that's 25% off. So I just used that on. I bought a plugin called what was it? Long Shadow, which is pretty cool. So
Long Shadow.
Long Shadow. It creates the long shadows.
We got our updates to X Particles. That's also a good time to update your X Particles.
That is a killer deal.
Yeah.
The X Particles deal, that is insane. Like, we will upgrade every year because we've got 2 licenses.
Yeah.
And it's like $300 for both of them. That's insane.
It's a good time to do it because they'll do the sale every year on Black Friday, and you can update your licenses every year on Black Friday.
Hopefully.
It's a good deal. Yeah, right. You better keep doing that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the Black Friday stuff. Other things I got in here. Oh, just a congrats to Aaron Coverett, who is now at Man vs. Machine. It was awesome. Yeah. And also, Are you going to say
another congrats?
Well, I was going to talk about Sakani.
No, I was going to say congrats to Sarah Wycliffe. She just had her baby.
Oh, that's right.
So congrats to her. Yeah, super excited. Yeah. She posted on Facebook and she did her whole birth story or whatever. And by the end, I had like a tear in my eye, because I'm so close to it. We're like 8 weeks away from having a kid. So, exciting.
Fernando, no, we didn't upgrade our Octane art. We still have like 100 and something days left on ours, I think.
Oh man, I thought I had like 400 days or something on mine.
Well, I did too, but it's been 100 and something 150, 60 days. Yeah. This is a quick year.
Okay.
I was going to say, Sakana, he just posted this morning. He had told me about this because he's going to come be on the show sometime in January, I think, that he was about to release a Star Wars short. So he did release some a preview like image of it. It's like a Star Wars short that he's doing. I think this is like his own thing. It's not like a actually like
I don't
sanctioned. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm really excited to see that. I think it's the 13th that he said that comes out. I'll have to look that up. That's it for the week wrap up. I did quickly want to do some Ravcock. What's your flavor?
What's your flavor?
Octane 2020 preview came out. I put a scene in there to check it out, like 3.17 times faster with RTX.
That's
which
crazy.
was really cool.
I'm gonna have to get more cards. Nidia, what render engine do you use?
Yeah.
What's your Redshift?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been on Redshift for a while?
Beginning last year, I think, when I moved to Toronto to Central.
Okay. What were you on before that?
Arnold.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because I had a Mac.
Yeah.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
Do you use like a render farm, or do you have like a bunch of cards stacked in machines, or what do you render with?
Well, most of the things I do are still, so I'm happy that I can just render on my machine.
That's nice. Yeah.
Or sometimes I need to do animation, but because I don't need like a massive setup, sometimes I just sleep during the night. That's pretty much at the moment. And if I'm really like desperate, then I'll use the render farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you like the transition over from Arnold to Redshift?
It was very easy.
Yeah.
Because Arnold was already like node based as well, kind of with Express. So it's just just different. Some things with different names, and then there's some things that Arnold had that Redshift didn't have. But it was very easy to like learn. I think I watched some tutorials, and then it was like, oh, okay, that's kind of similar to Arnold. So, but I used Octane 1 or 2 times in a project or so.
And
it's not hard. I don't think it's hard to go between them once you kind of.
I don't think so either. Yeah, once you get the vernacular and everything, especially I think Arnold and Redshift are very similar in the way that they work.
When they go full GPU or have the GPU option, are you going to bounce back or use both, or what's your plan there?
So far, I think I'll stick with Redshift just because that's mainly the studios I worked with that they use.
Oh yeah,
gotcha.
So
yeah.
I think Arnold was a bit like it took them a bit of time to get into the GPU game. I think like if you're using Maya because it comes with it, probably those studios that use Maya probably use Arnold. Makes sense with the GPU, but like most of the people I know just use Redshift or Octane nowadays. I don't know. I don't think they're just gonna be like, oh, let's swap to Arnold. Especially Redshift now being part of Maxon, I don't think it would make much sense.
I've heard a few studios saying that once the GPU stuff for Arnold actually gets up and going, they would switch over, specifically because it's so easy just to, click a button, switch to CPU, and send it off to a farm, for really cheap. So I don't know.
I really liked Arnold when I was using it. So for me, like, I remember last year when I was in Toronto, I was talking with another guy there, and Daniel Luna, and he was like, "Oh, I also like Arnold," and we're just having this kind of like talk at the bar how much we love Arnold, and everyone's like, "Same." We're like, "Well, we had Max, we had to use something." So
yeah, that's funny.
Well, Octane 2020, I'm excited to see what's coming. What I need to do is hit up Jules on Slack and find a time for him to come on and talk about some of the new features, because that's what we usually do when a new version comes out. I know that besides the speed, there was I think there was a Black Friday sale and a Cyber Monday thing going on. What else?
I don't know. Just assume everything's on sale all the time.
There's RTX improvements, advanced display color management system. It's called ACES. We'll have to get all the info.
Chad's been talking
all of this.
a lot about ACES.
Yeah. What else? Maxon. The C4D GPU noises. So like for your textures, volumes, for OSL, Vectron, displacements, you can now use the Maxon noises, which they have such a great selection. You know, I saw some test renders with those noises, like, you know, that. Plus, Sculptron Beta, Jason, thank you. Sculptron Beta, it's like this crazy sculpting software. It's like a separate piece of software. And, Liam says it's about 25% cheaper to use Arnold on a farm. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What else in this update?
So it's funny because Otoy on our channel or whatever on the Slack, was talking about 2020 and how it had built-in, Cinema 4D noises and stuff. And then almost immediately, Dave McGavran from Maxon, the CEO of Maxon, tweets out something like a little teaser about Redshift and Cinema 4D noises, like coming this week or something like that. So I think that's pretty cool.
Oh man!
So
see, competition, man. Competition keeps people going.
Yeah, seriously.
That's great.
And the nodes in Redshift, it's looking like they're at least the node editor looks like the new nodes in the new stuff, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I will be excited to see that.
Just to wrap up the other Octane stuff real quick, there's a new sky model, which I'm interested to play with. It's a different type of sky model. You could switch between the legacy and this new one. Spectral Hosek Wilkie sky model. It's already a sky model that's there. It's the spectral lights, what else? The Universal Camera 2 split focus that we were talking about a while back.
The split diopter.
Yeah, optical vignetting, which is cool.
Oh, cool.
So much I want to try playing around with. I'm just kind of waiting for the C4D version because, I mean, I can get around in standalone. He was
saying it should be coming in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, LiveDB2, which is going to have a huge like OSL procedural shader library, Hydra render delegate for Houdini 18 Solaris viewport. We talked about Sculptron, new enterprise subscriptions, perpetual 2020 licenses. Daz Studio is in the free tier now as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So we'll get him on. We'll talk to him about that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for 2020. I know I feel bad sometimes because I feel like people vent in the Facebook group not knowing that Jules is actually in there. You know, I guess there have been like some license confusion and things, and they're working really hard to get it all.
What, the people like pirating it and then saying, why doesn't this work?
That's a whole nother. Yeah, that's like, this thing isn't working. It's 3.07. It's like, well, you could upgrade to 4 for free. Oh, no, I can't because reasons. Oh, okay. Well, you pirated it. But no, there's been, I guess, some license confusion, something about PayPal and things. I'm sure they'll get it all straightened out. I just know that some people are confused. It can be confusing, between what kind of upgrade and what type of license and all of that. And so maybe we'll talk more about that, get him on the show. And then, is that it?
25% off today on Cyber Monday. So.
Oh, yeah. And then lastly, Nvidia dropped all Apple support, by the way. All Apple support. Yeah. So even, like, what are Hackintosh people doing,
Like, I'm a little surprised, but I'm not too terribly surprised. Like, I was holding out just a little bit in hopes that there would be some sort of something that they would do with the new Mac Pro, but I guess if it's not happening, it's not happening.
No. Oh well. All right.
Yeah.
Nidia, we want to talk about you now.
Yeah.
We haven't met in person before, and so it's a little bit different dynamic when we haven't met somebody in person because we don't really know as much of your background or even your personality or anything. It's just like
right now all we know is that you travel a lot
and you make awesome style frames and animations and
you're married to a Swede.
Yeah. Which is good to know. I mean,
right.
Travel a lot and married to a Swede. Yeah, that's pretty much me.
Yeah.
So tell us, let's start with your background and tell us a little bit about where you went to school, how you got into what you're into now.
You've got a super killer style, and I'd love to know how you developed that.
Yeah.
Thanks. I mean, when I started out, when I was like in high school, I actually didn't know what design was or anything. So here in Portugal, you have to choose the ninth grade. I don't know if it's the same as in the US, but you have to choose like a specific area that you concentrate. And one of them is arts, but I didn't know anything about art, so I thought it was just sculpting and like painting, and like so I didn't want to that. So I actually went to like the normal main generalist one that you can go to, like be a doctor, a nurse, an engineer, all this stuff. So I actually went 1 year to engineer first.
Really?
Yeah. And then I was like, that's not what I want. So as I actually enjoyed it, but it was more like I realized the years that I was in my last years in high school, I discovered design and Photoshop. And then I was like, oh, this is much fun. So when I was in engineer, I was like, it's too much math. So I swapped. So that I spent 1 year in engineering, and then the year after I went to graphic design. So I studied graphic design here in Portugal for 3 years, like a full course. It was more like graphic design and multimedia. So you had a little bit of like web design and a bit of everything pretty much. We learned a bit of After Effects, but no 3D.
Just, and this is in high school?
No, this was after high school. So
okay.
So I went 1 year to university for engineering, and then I changed courses, and then did a 3-year course in university for graphic design and multimedia. And while I was studying graphic design, I had this thought like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to animate? So I started learning After Effects, and I was using the Video Copilot tutorials to learn After Effects. So that's how I learned After Effects.
Like we all do, yeah.
So great.
The fly from space.
Yeah.
And then on my last year, I started more in 3D. Like I went from the 2D phase, and then I started seeing stuff in 3D, and I was like, I want to do that. But we didn't have any courses here in Portugal for motion graphics at the time. So I started searching all over the world, and then I saw the Vancouver Film School, and I was like, oh, I really want to go there. I took my parents, and they're like, you're insane. And I couldn't. I think at the time the student visa didn't allow me to work, so I couldn't afford to go there.
Gotcha.
So my parents said search somewhere in Europe. So I just actually Googled like motion school Europe, and then I saw a few of them in some forums. So I started researching, and I found one called Hyper Island in Stockholm, or Stockholm. So I applied, and then I got in. So it was like a 1 year course, because I didn't want to do more 3 years as well in university. I was like, I'm done with studying. So I went to Hyper for a year for their motion design course in Stockholm. And part of that year, you had to do a 3 month internship. And it could be anywhere. It didn't have to be in Sweden. So I applied to a few studios, most of them in London, actually, because it was closer and I could understand the language.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I got a studio called Mainframe that was very quick to reply. And they said, yes, come, you can come. So I went there for 3 months. And after that, as I was finishing, I think it was my last week of my internship, they offered me a job. So I stayed in London. So that's pretty much the quick version of how I got into the industry. So.
Nidia, what's your website? Someone was asking.
Yeah.
Is it just...
NidiaDias.com.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Enough.
But not Nvidia. Nidia Dias.
Right. Nvidia Dias is the new secret graphics card that they're working on for next year.
Right. Yeah. That's funny. So how did you develop your style? You know, what were kind of some of your influences, you know, towards kind of the style that you developed? I'm saying the exact same thing over and over again.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
With that style that you developed.
Well, the first 3 years when I was in London at Mainframe, I was doing a bit of everything. So I didn't have like a style. I was pretty much using those 3 years to explore different, like I didn't even knew at the time what an art director or like that you could just do style frames. So I was pretty much animating in Cine 4D or comping in After Effects, you know, whatever came along I was doing. And then on the side I'd like to do just experiments. So it wasn't like any particular thing. I just wanted to try different stuff. And then I don't really know, to be honest, when the style came, because I remember someone saying, oh, I love your style. And I was like, I have a style. Yeah. And I think it's harder to see it yourself, like that you have a style. But I always liked abstract stuff since I was a kid. Like whenever I used to draw, I always draw more like just random lines and whatever shapes. It was never like a realistic thing. And then I think was getting that abstract thing that I think it was mainly what I approached and what I went for. But to be honest, I don't know like when I got the style. I think I just did what I felt was nice for the project or worked for the brief. With obviously a bit of my like of what I like in terms of colors and that abstract and textures. But there was never like, oh, this I really want to do this and becomes my style. I just explored.
It just happened.
There was a time. Yeah, there was a time when I was at Future Lux that people thought I was like I love particles. We started to do stuff with particles, and people were like, oh, you're the particle person. It's like, I know, I like doing it. It's not like my thing. It's just I just enjoy doing it. So yeah, I just like exploring pretty much.
How much of this is how much of your work is actually like just playing around versus, you know, like you have an idea, you know how to execute that idea, and so on, you know? Because I think when I was watching the IBC one, you know, you were talking about just playing around a lot.
Yeah, so usually I have, like, when I do, imagine, when it's commercial work, it's much more focused on the idea and, like, the look. Like, I kind of have, like, an idea of what I want. If I'm doing personal projects, usually I think I separate them into two sections. Either the one that I just go around and just play and just try to make something new, or one where I really try to find a technique, or like I seen something, maybe like there was one that I did the flow where I was like, oh, I really want to have this kind of ink style paint thing in 3D. Like, how can I achieve this? Or like in the computer, so I don't have to like actually have to film it and stuff like that. So it was just experimenting with that. So it wasn't like a final idea, like I really wanted to be this, but I wanted to be like painty look like, so then I just explored. So that's kind of how I divide mine. So I do like to just, I think with anything in life, like even when I went to Sweden to study, was just like, oh, wouldn't that be cool to go there? So it's just like, just kind of goes along, you know. It's like I don't like to plan much in advance. I like to let things flow, pretty much. So I think my work is kind of the same as well. Like, if obviously it's a commercial work, I obviously do here's the idea, here's mood board, here's what I'm thinking of, and then kind of style frames on that. But other than that, I just try to just play around and like see what I can find, pretty much.
Yeah,
it's amazing work.
Yeah,
it is so
and you have
good.
so much of it too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, and so you know, these style frames and everything. How do you decide how much time to spend on the style frame? And is it something that once you develop it, you use the project files that you built it with, or do you kind of start over, or how do you go about doing that?
I think like perception on like the style frames had changed a bit in the last years or so, because in the past I would use a lot of combination between Cine 4D and Photoshop, because I really like Photoshop. So sometimes I'll just, instead of trying to, especially prior to GPU, instead of me trying to figure out like, oh, the light is going to be here, I'll just like paint some highlights, you know, like make it like really spot on in Photoshop, some details. But nowadays, like whenever I do a style frame, people go like, hey, can you get the Cine 4D file, and then we just animate. And sometimes they're not like proper, like especially when it's like X particle setups. I was like, hey, I don't have time to do like a proper X particle setup.
Right.
It's lots of different things. So I think it's like, if it's a very like the Microsoft project, when I was working at Tendo, where it's just a lot of like cubes and stuff like that, then we could reuse the scenes, because the objects itself were quite simple and the lighting was already there approved. So obviously we could play with it, and then we had to just adjust a few things. But when it goes to like more crazy things, sometimes it's just mixing setups. So I tell them like, I can give you all the Cine 4D files, you just have to combine them into one and make it. But yeah, it's a bit restricting sometimes, because you never know if they're going to ask you for the Cine 4D. I always give the Cine 4D files either way. But for me, like I always try doing, depending on the project and the complexity, I always, because I work remotely, I always send stuff at the end of the day. So I always try to have like at least a really good style frame at the end of the day. So that always allows me to have like the most perfectly named Cine 4D file and all that stuff, right? I try getting it organized as I can as I go, but sometimes you're just exploring and trying things out, and then it's like a mess, the files, and yeah.
Yeah.
When you're I forgot what I was going to say.
Freelancing.
No, yeah. Like when you're trying to build these style frames, or you're working with clients and they're wanting the projects afterwards, are you building it in a way, like, are you sometimes having to build it in a way where you know that they're going to animate it, you know? Or are you just like, I'm exploring, this is what I'm doing,
and here it
I'm
is.
creating something. Here it is, you do whatever you can with it.
Depending on the project, I think I'd go more for the experimenting, because I think the initial phase of the style frames is what's going to dictate the style. So I don't want to be restricted in trying to make like the perfect setup in X particles.
I like that.
Yeah. When at
Yeah.
the end of time, maybe go like, oh, that's not the one we want, right? So I think for me, it's more like working fast, trying to get like more variety or different colors and stuff like that, just exploring. And then sometimes I do get time to like imagine the client liked a certain route, then I can pick that one and then just kind of organize it a bit better and try to make it a bit better as well for whoever has to take it. But I try to avoid like I said, especially with particles, that's the hardest one. It's like people like, cool, it's approved, like let's do it. And I was like, dude, I had one day, I couldn't do the full setup. It's like different setups combined into one in Photoshop or After Effects. Yeah.
How much of the work that you do for these style frames then go on to you actually working on the projects as well, you know? Like, for example, you're building these style frames, you know, they approve them and they're like, all right, let's do it. And then you know that you've got to actually build it to make it look like that, you know?
So that's the thing I avoid. Like, I try to get hired just to do like the steels parts. Try to have, because that's more where my strength is. Like I used to animate more when I was starting out, but like the past years, it's been much more style frames and art direction. So I tell from the start, like, hey, that's not where my strength lied. I can do some animation and I can obviously continue on, but I always suggest that they should get someone else that is much more technical and can probably pick what I've done and make it in a much better way than me and faster probably. So, but yeah, so I think it's mainly that. The project that I sometimes continue is where if someone hires me to do style frames, like a direction, a route for that, and the client likes my route, then sometimes I go in as the art director because they selected the route
that makes sense.
That I thought of. So more on that sense, I'd say.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are these all studios for the most part, or do you have any like B2B work that you do? Like,
mainly, I'll say 95% is studios, or if it's not studios, it's like other freelancers that contact me to like they're having a big project and they want my help as well. But mainly, like I work with studios. Yeah, I was thinking if there was any clients work, but no, mainly even if it's not. Yeah, no, never talk to clients. I think if anything is with agencies as well in between.
Okay. Also in the chat, if you have questions, let us know. We got a couple questions in here, I think. Copycat wants to know how I get a background like this. This is just green screen. That's all it is. It's just green screen. Look, here. You want to see behind the magic? Oh. Yeah, this is a green screen. Other question from Copycat is, what steps do you take to understand what the client wants?
I mean, I guess it depends on the client. Some of them have like a very good brief, like they're very like they know what they want. They have already reference and stuff like that. So that's pretty much just trying to, for me, usually it's like they always try to sell something, a product or showcase something new. So it's trying to understand what they want to showcase in their product, what's really important, what are like the main things that they want to like showcase. Like I kind of learned that as well from when I was studying graphic design. When we had to logos, our teacher will always say that you should like do some keywords of what the company means or what their product, stuff like that. So kind of the same in the brief is like, what is the client trying to sell? Who is their target audience? What style do they want? How long is the piece? What's the budget? Because that obviously influences how much you can do. So all those main stuff. And then there's other clients that some of them just say like, do whatever you want, which is great. And then that's good. And some others have like an idea what they want, but it's quite loose. So then but you're also allowed a bit more exploration time. So it's not like, oh, send us a PDF, like in a week with everything. It's like you can send them stuff and then go like, okay, more like this. So you can also like show a few quick sketches to say, okay, we did some tests like this. Is this what you want? And then you're like, oh, that's too crazy or too abstract, for example. Sometimes it happens and then you turn it down. And then there's a good, like, I like when there's like this kind of back and forth with the client. It's not like just one-sided.
Yeah.
Cool. How in the world do you get into like just creating style frames? Like, because this, like, to me,
oh, you mean
you're
only
explaining this. I didn't even know that this was like a thing.
To do just style frames?
Like, yeah, because it's like this direction is cool. Especially, you know, it's like, okay, I'm building something, I'm experimenting, I'm taking what they want, and I'm building just I'm building a style, you know? And it's like, I'm looking at the Microsoft project.
And then you don't have to run all the Sims at the end.
Right, you don't have to run all the Sims. It's like, and you're only rendering out a single frame.
Yeah,
you know?
That's nice.
It's like, that's super killer. How like, what was it that pushed you in this direction versus like going full animation or something like that? Like, I can see just off the bat, you've got an amazing sense of design, you know, and I think that definitely pushes you, but or helps with that. But what was it that you said, all right, this is going to be my focus?
Yeah, I think so. I think the like I said, the looking into saying that I have a lot of graphic, I think is because I had a graphic design course, which was mainly like pure graphic design, like making logos and all this stuff. So I got a lot of the design principles from there, like, you know, all the contrast, balance, and all this stuff. And then I think was when I was at Mainframe. So because, like I said, I was doing a bit of everything there. But then once in a while, we're like, okay, we need some quick style frames, or you're good with typography, you know, layout and stuff like that. Can you work on that? So I started doing more and more of that, and I was like, oh, I really enjoy doing this. Like, I can actually perfect that one frame rather than having to like quickly do this animation and not having like that detail as I want. So I started with that, but I was still doing a little bit of motion and all this stuff. But at the time I was like, oh, it would be great if I can just do this. And I realized that a lot of times, because you have to pitch, or you have a project and the clients want to see it. So every project we got, we always had to show something, concept, style frames. So that's kind of where my idea of like, maybe I can do this as a job. That's where it started. So after those 3 years at Mainframe, I actually quit it, and I actually joined a graphic design studio just because I wanted to go back to graphic design. Like, I felt that for me to move on into like being an art director and stuff like that, I had to go back a bit with my graphic design roots and kind of understand as well, like for print and all this stuff, I wanted to have a bit of like, I wanted to understand a bit of everything to kind of be sure that whenever I got a brief for a specific thing, I can fully understand because I passed through that. So I did a 1 year in a graphic design studio in London. And then after that, I got a job at Future Deluxe as a senior designer. So that's where I started doing even more style frames. I still did animation there as well because we were very small at the time compared to now. They are. But it was still like very focused on design because Future Deluxe is very design driven. So I think that's where kind of my career kick started, was from Future Deluxe.
That's interesting.
Cool.
The progression, you know, they say hindsight is 20/20, but when you think about, I mean, anyone really, like how did I get here? How did I get down this path? Like, it seems so random. You look back, it's very obvious. You know, it seems like it was a very natural progression for you to get where you are now. You just spoke at NodeFest, right? When was that? A couple weeks ago? How was that?
It was great. I mean,
How was the flight?
Oh, yeah.
Flight was fine because I actually was at, I mean, the way there was fine because I was actually in LA a week and a half before for Adobe Max.
Oh, cool.
So I went first I mean, it was funny because I kind of travel like around the world. Because I went from here to, stopped in New York, slept there one night just at the airport, not at the airport, at a hotel at the airport, inside of the airport. And then the day after I went to LA, spent a few days in LA, and then from there got a direct flight to Sydney. And then I took some days off, so explored Sydney, and then did a 1 hour flight to Melbourne. The problem was on the way back, which was like 2 long flights. But I stopped as well in Singapore and I took a night there because I was like, I can't do 2 long, massive flights.
Yeah.
It's me. But it was very interesting because I was like, so one night I didn't explore New York, but it was like one night in New York, a few days in LA, a few days in Sydney, a few days in Melbourne, one in Singapore, and then I stopped in Munich before catching the flight to Portugal.
Wow.
So it was a very long, in 20 days, I kind of stopped.
Complete circle around. And you did go completely around. You didn't go backwards. Does that mean you're in the future now?
No, I did lost one day flying from LA to Sydney. So I left on the 6th and arrived there on the 8th. That was very confusing.
I think you might have to celebrate your birthday a day later every year.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
That's funny.
No, I did I enjoyed Node as well a lot. It was nice to meet a lot of people that I also knew online, but never talked with them, so that was great. And it was such a great vibe. I mean, what I like most about any kind of festival is just meeting people, and sometimes it's like everyone is so humble, which is so nice. Like you're just talking with someone, and they're like, "Oh, no, your work is great," and it's like, "Dude, stop talking about it. Your work is amazing." So it's like everyone's like, "No, you shut up. No, you shut up." No, it's just great. It's just great to see the community all together, and I think that's what I like most, pretty much, about festivals.
Is there a good motion graphics scene in Portugal?
No, they're trying to do something more in Lisbon now. There's a few studios there now, and they're trying to there's a Slack channel now, trying to kind of get everyone involved. And I think they're doing some meetups there once in a while, but it's still very, very new. I hope it gets bigger.
Yeah.
Trust. But yeah, still very, very small.
So I'm assuming you met the captain in Australia, right? Yeah.
Of course.
Oh man, what a character. What a character.
That guy.
That guy, man. Never have him on the show, got to get out the bleep button.
Yeah.
I met him because he was the host. But no, everyone is super nice. And everyone is like, "Oh, thank you so much for coming all this way." And I was like, "What do you mean? I had holidays here."
Yeah.
What was your talk over?
I talked about collaboration. And also I actually had my husband do the talk with me because I showed 3 projects and 2 of them were basically me and him that work on it. Because he's more like a technical person, like a technical guy, like a technical director. So whenever I get projects that people do want me to animate, and it's more like do a 10 or 15-second thing or 30-second, and you design it for this project or for Instagram, I usually say, "Hey, I'll do it with someone else," which usually ends up with my husband.
Nice.
I see. So you make him do all the Sims.
Yeah, of course. Exactly.
You're like, what I said. Here, make it look like this.
Yeah.
That's what I said at Node. I said I make it look pretty, and then he does all the artwork, and I just take the credit for it.
Yeah,
that's pretty much.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, that's So I had him in the, because he was talking with me there either way. So I was like, "What's the point of you sitting there watching me talk about projects that we both worked on?" So I talked with the captain, James, and I told him the idea, and he said it was cool. So we both talked.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
I like on your reel you write, "Whatever you do, don't blink." There's a lot of stuff. Yeah. It's a lot of stills, right? It was kind of hard to that's the song from the latest reel is actually my husband that made it, because it was like I couldn't find any song that was like to have so many stills that it wasn't like busy, I don't know, electro stuff, crazy sounds. So I just asked him, "Hey," because it's not like a professional musician, but he just likes dabbling with playing with creating some songs and sounds. So like, "Hey, do you want to have a go with my?" Pretty much, I always ask him that every time there's a part, like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he's like, "What do you want?"
That's funny.
Some music for my show reel. But yeah, it's a lot of stills. I was very because I didn't have a reel for a while. Only when I went freelance, I was like, "Okay, I need to do a reel," but it's like it's so much still, so I need to make people don't feel bored in like a PowerPoint presentation. It needs to feel like dynamic. So
right.
So that was like, I still had some like moving parts just to not be like always stills, but it's really hard to make it like interesting.
What kind of what programs do you use? Okay, I mean we know like Photoshop, After Effects, Cinema 4D, Redshift. Like, what are there any other programs you're using? Have you gotten into Houdini? Have you gotten into any other? I mean, I guess some of it for style frames you wouldn't really have to get too far into, but like, are there any like obscure programs you're using to create style frames or?
No, I actually I tried to learn Houdini, but I started it when I had a bit of downtime time between projects. But then projects came in, and I forgot everything I learned.
It sounds like me and a lot of other people.
Yep.
And I do really want to go into try Houdini again. I don't particularly feel like I need it in the sense that I don't not doing the simulations per se, but I do like the idea of in the concept of the software, and I think because I had that background in engineering, I do like everything that is like procedural and the idea of like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with a background like that, I would think that you would gravitate towards something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I find it very interesting. I mean, there was a point in time, I think it was like last year, that I thought even of learning Python.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like I find a lot of things so interesting that it's hard for me to actually stop and learn something because so I was like, oh, there's this like marvelous designer. I go like, ooh, substance, ooh, what's Houdini?
Yeah.
So I'm very like I get distracted very often because I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And
I feel like that's the life of a motion designer though. Like.
Yeah, but it's true. Like I feel like it's for me like I want to learn Houdini, but I also want to like to learn substance designer, create my own textures and have my own library and stuff like that. I had some curiosity in Marvelous Designer, but I never really went full on it because every time I had to do something with like more cloth or stuff like that, I just asked my husband for help.
Yeah.
There was never like that kind of like big need, but I still want to learn it.
He's a Maya guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. We won't hold it against him.
So I've been trying like every time there's something new, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and then it's like, oh, there's Unity, and then there's Unreal. I don't know. My mind keeps on like gravitating everywhere, and then I end up not doing anything because I just, I don't know. It's like Redshift. Like when I learned Redshift was because when I joined Tendril last year, they were using Redshift, so it's like we use Redshift. I was like, cool, I'll learn Redshift. So it was like that was easy. Like, okay, they're using Redshift, I need to use Redshift. But whenever it comes to me deciding what I have to learn, it takes more time to decide than actually probably if I just select one and go for it. But, yeah.
I was looking at the semi-permanent titles. That's like ultra wide. Is that like 21 by 9 or super ultra mega wide?
I think
ultra mega wide.
I think we started first with kind of just a full HD, kind of 16 by 9, but then the director George Chu was like experimenting, and she's like, okay, let's do more like a cinematic. So, yeah.
And it starts like extra thin, I think, and then it like kind of blows up a little or something like that.
Yeah, it does kind of like the little like kind of opening kind of thing at the beginning.
It reminds me, there's a Family Guy joke where they're talking about like, I forget what movie it was. But
or super ultra,
yeah,
and it was like 2 pixels.
It was
long
like 2
or something.
pixels tall, and it was just all the way across the screen. But the paint technique, I really liked that paint in there. What was that? Was that?
So that was actually footage. That was Davey Evans. He did the whole initial part of the ink.
Mm-hmm.
So we all had different sections, and then we pretty much there was an animatic already, so we kind of knew. I knew what was coming beforehand, kind of in terms of like how my camera had to be so it would transition correctly. But the first time was Davey, like he just filmed that all in camera.
That's why it looks so good. It was real.
Yeah.
I think
those are some sweet sims.
Right.
I think there was some like comping on it and stuff like that and some adjustments, but I think the bulk of it was all films. He's insane. He's really good.
Yeah. Oh wow. I got some links real quick I wanted to go to. We can talk about these, and then I wanted to do a Beeple's People. We haven't done that in a few weeks, and then into our Mograph recommends, so we can learn a little bit more about some other areas of your life here. Let's start with the links. The Mograph Mentor is coming out with a 3D style framing and art direction course, and I just saw David Ariev posted this. It's It's a course that was done with Yeti Pictures, and if you see some of their stuff, you probably recognize it, because it's one of those things where you will remember something you see on Instagram or somewhere. You don't remember who did it, but remember that thing with the thing and the dancing toaster or whatever. It's one of those things. Like, I recognize a lot of the things that they've done, and they're doing this style frame course, which is really cool looking. So check that out. Also, this one's been going around. It's called "This Is Not Blue: A Lesson in Color Theory." So I'll put a link to that show notes.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Yeah.
And then there's a URender Forester Showcase, which shows off Forester with URender. Matt, did you buy URender?
I played around with. Yeah, I didn't buy it.
Oh, you got like a trial or something.
The thing is, like, I wanted to give it a try, because some of the projects that we work on, it's like, this doesn't need to be full Redshift, Octane, super photorealistic,
Yeah.
It could be real time or something like that. But then once I tried it out, man, I couldn't get rid of the aliasing. Like, there was so much aliasing that's like,
there's not options
just doing
for
a
that?
simple. There is, but then it blurs everything, and it's like, I don't want that. And then so I'm like, okay, well, I'll use the Casey Hupke method. I'll render it really, really big.
Oh yeah.
And then make it smaller, right? But it's like, as soon as you jack up the size, it's like, okay, now it's going to take 10 seconds a frame to render, and it's like, well, this isn't real time.
Yeah, then you're back to square one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, all right, might as well just use Redshift or Octane for it.
Yeah. Other links I got here. Trump's handwriting is now a font. You can get this font. It's called Tiny Hand.
Right.
You can get that online. I'll put a link to that. Also, there's this video that Tokyo Megaplex was working on. It's a band called, or a group called Tonight, TNGHT, and the name of the video is Give Me Something, I think. Give me SUMMN something. Official video. It's wacky, weird, just what you think Tokyo Megaplex would be working on. So check that out.
Can I just rant for a second?
Sure.
I have gotten like 7 emails in the past like hour from the Dallas Producers Association. They're having some sort of vote, on the bylaws of the Dallas Producers Association, and everyone is replying all or sending their own little thing to every single person on this freaking Dallas Producers Association list. If you are a member of some sort of association where you have everyone's email, don't start political discussions with people about. It's annoying. It's like, I'm done. I'm done with these people. I'm blocking it.
We're not even members anymore.
I know. I still get all the emails though.
Anyway, also Quad Remesher. This is a remesher for Cinema 4D. There is a plugin for Cinema 4D now for Quad Remesher. However, you were telling me you thought that this was based on Quadraflow code.
Yeah. I don't know if it is or not. I could be wrong. I had downloaded the free Quadraflow one that I can't remember who did it, so I apologize.
Well, Quad Remesher looks super good. Like, it's pretty impressive. Now, I don't know if it will. I'll have to. I didn't see any info on like if it was the same as Quadraflow or based on that. But Ryan Gordon on Twitter, he actually wrote a free version of the Cinema 4D plugin for Quadraflow with the Quadraflow code.
And I tried that one out. It was pretty good. It was really good. And especially for a free program.
All right.
It did take a little bit though.
Let's go to Beeple's People.
Let's do it. Yay.
All right, get out your Beeple viewer of choice. I'm using Twitter. We're going to go to November. We're behind. We've got a lot of Beeple stuff to catch up on here. I'm going to go to November 12th, year of our Lord 2019. Now, this was November 12th. If you're a Disney Plus fan, you know that that's the day Disney Plus launched.
Mm-hmm.
So, the name of this one is called Disney Plus.
All right.
So, get out your Beeple viewer of choice. I'm stalling because I don't have them pulled up like I usually do. Here we go. I'm going to have to do a lot of scrolling too because we've been behind on all of this. Number 12. The 12, 12, 12, 12. Where are you? What are all these?
12, 12, loop 12.
12, 12, loop 12. Oh, here we go. Disney Plus. And here it is. Wow.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
Jeez.
So it's like Mickey Mouse eating a baby and like you do.
The way you describe that for people who aren't actually watching this, and it's like, well, it's Mickey Mouse eating a baby. Like,
and at first you're like, what? And then you're like, oh, people. Of course it is.
Yeah.
And then like there's two Halo character looking guys at the bottom with laser guns, and they have Netflix logos on them. I think they're they're scared. Logo? Where is the Hot Pockets logo?
Dude, him and Hot Pockets, it's hilarious.
I don't understand what's up with the Hot Pockets.
He's got to be getting paid by Hot Pockets
to
create some like viral marketing for them.
I think he just likes Hot Pockets.
Maybe.
But Mickey Mouse's head almost looks like a blow-up doll. I wonder how he did that.
Yeah,
it's funny.
I don't know.
So weird. I don't really know what to say about that. But also the next one is November 13th.
That baby model is actually a really good model.
Yeah, I know. That's funny. The 13th, if I could find it. Why am I missing this one here? Buzz Lightyear. Oh, weird. The date changed. I swear the date changed. November 15th now. Weird. Okay. Buzz Lightyear. He
awesome.
Uses regular Buzz Lightyear head, but it looks like the head like fell on the city or something and blew it up, and the guy's like upset. And it looks like, he's got like smoke behind him, like the head just fell and nuked the city.
Maybe.
I don't know, but the guy's all bloody, and he's like, "Why?" like dead people everywhere. Did you see
there was another Buzz Lightyear one? He's in. I don't know if he's still there, but he was in Moscow. For a big meetup, and he did one live, and so of course they had to put Buzz Lightyears everywhere. I think he would go up to like one of the newest ones. It was.
She's got a lot I haven't seen recently.
Yeah, he's been doing all the
download
Baby Yoda
this
ones.
free effing dope textured rigged model of Baby Yoda. Nice. Okay, where is it? There's all the top. Turkey ones.
Newest
Moscow.
ones.
Oh,
there you go.
Is this it?
No, up one.
This one?
And they're all fighting the mushroom. Yeah.
Oh. Weird. They're fighting the mushroom, but then there's mushrooms growing out of a bigger one.
Right.
And this painting, like, he's got like a painting style, and then he has like a canvas texture on top of it.
That's curious interesting. If he's like, because he did this one live, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they're throwing out ideas, and he's like, like he does, where he's like, no, this is crap, whatever. He's like, let's just see if we can do something with it, and then he throws a filter on top of it.
Yeah. No, the last one is November 16th. It's GAN-powered meat horse. And it's a gorilla, so I don't quite get it. But this I don't know, this feels a little old school to me. This is like a 2018 Winkleman joint.
Yeah.
It's got like
classic 2018 Winkleman.
Yeah, it's so 2018. And people who were 2000 late.
Oh my gosh. You're fired.
It's been like 11 years since they were 2000 late. This contraption on the top, it almost looks like a motor, and there's a dude in there like powering the gorilla body with no gorilla head. But it really felt kind of old school to me, but then he added that texture and paint to it. So interesting. I don't have much to say about these. It's just fun to look at.
Yeah.
So all right, let's do a segment. This is called Mograph Recommends, where we're going to ask you some of your favorites. And for a lot of people, we get these answers and we're like, that explains so much. But let's start out with your favorite movie.
Memento.
Memento.
Okay, that's a good
Yeah.
one. I like that.
Not even a second thought, just instantly Memento.
I think it's because it's always been my favorite movie, but I think it's because nowadays there's so much movies coming out that whenever someone asks me what's your favorite movie, I default back to like what I always say in the past.
Right.
It just kept. I don't know. It's nowadays. It's like I don't know. I've watched so many movies and a lot of them are so great, so I just go like, Memento, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Do you have any recent ones that you like? Like recent favorites? Because sometimes it's hard for me. I know I'm sometimes like there's an overall favorite and then like a good recent movie. Like First Man or something. Like one that came out like in the last year or something.
I haven't seen that one yet. People say that was really good.
Well, that's a good one.
I don't know. Like I'm very bad with like remembering what I've seen as well. I was like, did I see that one? But I've watched past weekend, the Knives Out, the one that is the mystery one, like kind of like Agatha Christie crime thing.
I haven't heard of that.
It's the one with the guy from James Bond, the actor, the main one.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, he's there, and then there's all the actors are like super famous. It's like a very good cast. There's a guy from Captain America as well in there. It's more like I think that one I like because I always like kind of like mystery books when I was younger, and like who killed who and how and why. So that's kind of the same way. This one it was inspired by Agatha Christie books. So it was
cool.
That was a nice one.
And what about
I like mystery? I've read Harry Potter.
I read Harry Potter as well.
There's Matt, you haven't seen the latest Rick and Morty, have you?
I haven't, no.
This is not a spoiler, but there's a line in it about there's a line in it. He is like talking about different kinds of movies or something, and he was like, or it's like, one of those 2 David Lynch movies that I saw just so that my friends would stop bugging me about it.
Oh, okay. So this was last week's episode. Yeah, I saw that.
There wasn't one last night. So
there wasn't.
No.
All right.
No.
Then yes, I did.
Yeah, that was a good line. All right, let's. What's your favorite music or music you maybe like to listen to when you're working or something like that?
Yeah, I was gonna say depends on the mood. I like to listen to like indie stuff, but depends on the project. Sometimes I like more rocky stuff, depending if I need some energy. Sometimes I'll go for like chill music just to kind of be in the back, just listening. I don't know.
Lo-fi chill hop.
I like as well like stuff like Part of Stellar, for like when I'm listening to like when I'm working, it has good beats to it. Yeah, it depends. I think it's harder nowadays with Spotify because like there's some you just like before you buy the CDs, right? You have to listen to the whole that band, and it's my favorite band. Now I have every time I like a song from someone like on my Discovery Weekly, I just add to a playlist. So my playlist is all like different names. Yeah. So I feel bad a lot of times. I'm like I don't have like before I'll be like, oh yeah, this is my favorite artist. Now I'm like I don't know.
Kids these days will never understand what it's like to have one of your friends say, hey, have you ever heard of this band? And then finding your new favorite band.
Yeah. I feel bad as well. Like I'm like always like, whenever people ask me, it's like, oh man, I should be better at this. I should like focus on some bands. Like, okay, I like their songs. Let me explore more of their album. But.
And what about favorite TV show?
Good question as well. So I liked one that it was canceled, but it was called Pushing Daisies.
I love Pushing Daisies.
Oh, I've heard of it.
That one was great.
Yeah, it's so quirky. Like I like the kind of quirkiness of it, like the whole environment and the whole thing. That's great.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Yeah, and I was so sad it was canceled. And then similar to that, I also really liked a series of Unfortunate Events. The TV series. Because it's also like the design art direction of the whole environment. It's very like you had that kind of look for me at least of Pushing Daisies, like kind of like it's not just all the design set is great and all of that. So I think it's like quirky, weird. I don't know. But other than that, I mean, I watched I've seen Westworld and I liked and Mr. Robot. But I think these ones that I said are more like kind of like quirky
Yeah.
I also got like
Mhm.
a Good Place. The Good Place is also good. I also like The Good Place.
It is
that
really
one.
good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly
Also,
good. Yeah.
I was so sad that he stopped now until next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when does Westworld come back out? It feels like it's been an eternity.
I think
I
it's
don't
like
know.
May or March next year. Is it? I don't know. I'm just saying a random date here.
It has been so long. Like, I don't even remember what happened last season at this point. It's just like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I haven't started watching Mr. Robot yet because I need to remember as well what happened in the last seasons. But yeah, I think it's May. I think it's beginning-ish of like
Did
the year. I think.
Wait, did Mr. Robot come back out? Was it
No,
new?
Yeah.
2020.
Oh, I guess I didn't
Season-
realize that. 4?
Yeah, season 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
completely missed that. I need to go watch that for sure.
Is this Mr. Robot's last season, or is it?
I think
See,
it might be.
I got halfway through season 2 of Mr. Robot, and I was just like, I feel like I'm being tortured here.
I know what you mean,
This
but I
is-
told you you
this
need
is-
to push through it.
I know. I just couldn't. I had other investments. You know.
I feel some of them are like depends on your mood. It's like you need to be like Mr. Robot is quite like heavy a lot of times, so you have to be like
Yeah.
determined to watch it.
Yeah.
It's not Ricky and Morty that you can watch anytime.
No.
Right. And you have to
Yeah.
be ready to watch those weird shots, and you have to be in the mood to watch those weird shots, like somebody's forehead in the left corner of the screen is the whole shot. You
Right.
know, it's like so.
Right.
It's like breaking all the laws of film just to be edgy. I don't know. All right, what else do we have here? Do you listen to podcasts?
Yes, I wish I had listened more. I'm still trying to find a good time to listen to them because if I'm working, I always kind of like if I focus on work and then I miss completely everything that was said on the podcast and have to repeat it. But yes, I do listen to podcasts,
So-
especially when I travel.
What do you listen to in particular?
I actually like, besides all the motion ones and design stuff,
Mhm.
I actually tend to more ones that are less to do with motion graphics. So there's
Yeah.
one called Freakonomics,
Yeah,
Freakonomics, yeah.
that one, and then also 99% Invisible.
I've listened to a couple episodes of that. That one's
Yeah, it's a bit similar to Freakonomics, I guess, where they have like a major theme for that episode and then they just talk about it. But it's super interesting. I like those ones because it's kind of makes you think about what's happening in the world and other subjects that you may not. Because when I go to the computer, I just think about motion graphics, right?
Right.
It's good. It's good to sometimes see other things or listen to other things.
And what about headphones?
These ones. But I don't do that. But I'm not much into the noise. I mean, I would buy noise cancellation, but when I was getting the headphones, I just wanted some that were simple and clean.
Yeah.
And I found these ones are called Urban Ears. It's a Swedish brand. So it's just like gray. It's like there's no brand on the outside. It's just a little tag that it says Urban Ears. It's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
All for the style. No noise cancellation, just the style.
That's very Swedish.
Yeah, yeah.
Very like simple and the brand is just a little thing on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about apps? If you pick up your phone and you have a go-to app, a muscle memory app, your finger just automatically clicks on something. What is that?
Instagram, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
good.
think it'll probably be the first one I'll click on my phone.
Do you have who are some of the people that you who are some of your favorite Instagram people that you follow?
Good question.
That should be added.
Yeah,
That should be
that
added.
is a good. Yeah,
Yeah, good one. There's a lot of people. It's hard to say, like, because I like, for example, I like variety as well. Like, I like following people that maybe are like really good at cinematography or photography, just to kind of keep interested in not always seeing like the 3D classic stuff.
Right.
Good question. I mean, obviously, I'd say my friends because I love following their stuff, like Rita or Danny. There's my friend Toros is putting a lot of cool stuff as well. I don't know. I just follow a lot of people.
All right.
I don't have any like because I just check my feed. I don't go like
That's fine. I'll just go to your Instagram and just start
Just see
following the
who-
people
yeah.
that you follow.
I actually realize I tend to do a lot more of the stories nowadays because
Yeah.
yeah,
it's just like snap it and stuff like that. It
Yeah.
just feels like and then you can comment more easily. Like it's much more like, oh, I'll just send like an emoji on this or say like, oh, that's great or congrats and stuff like that. It just feels much more
yeah,
easier, natural. I don't know.
yeah.
yeah. It's It's really cool, like in a conference environment, you know, if you go to an event or something, to be able to like add stories, add other people, they add you, you know, you kind of get to put a picture together of what's going on at an event when you see all of that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, now the last one, this is the toughie. What is your favorite life hack?
What do you mean by life hacks?
Here it comes.
Here it comes. This is Mitch Myers. His classic life hack is to turn the toaster on its side to make some bomb-ass grilled cheese. Do you have anything in your day-to-day that you do that's like a secret or a trick or a shortcut or something to life in general? It doesn't have to be computer related or anything. I know we totally put you on the spot here. It's a tough one.
Yeah, no, especially with that example, like I can't beat that one. No, I don't have anything. I think it's not a life hack, but I'm just trying more and more to finish work at a time and close everything. Like I feel that it's much better than continuing. Like I still struggle, but I'm really trying hard to like get hobbies that are outside learning software.
Right.
That's good.
Like trying to really like turn off the computer and just find something else to do. So that's pretty much my life hack. It's not a hack, but it's
kind of.
Just,
I mean, inspiration doesn't necessarily always come when you're right in front of the computer, you know?
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's a good one. Cool. All right, well, I think we're going to wrap it up and get back to our holiday work that we got to get done. Got all sorts of...
Yeah, I got a lot more things to buy on Cyber Monday.
Yeah. Got a lot of clients that we got to make calls to here this afternoon. So we really appreciate you being on and figuring out the time difference and all of that fun stuff. And
all right. Thanks for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see you at one of these events next year, like NAB or SIGGRAPH or something.
Yeah, you need to make it out to NAB.
Yeah.
That would be killer.
I always feel really good about those shows in there. But I think it's cool as well. I think is SIGGRAPH the biggest one or is NAB?
NAB's the biggest one.
Okay.
SIGGRAPH this year is in Washington, D.C., so the flights may be cheaper for you.
Yeah. Well, NAB is bigger because NAB isn't the bigger graphics show. I mean, a lot of people come out for motion graphics, but there's other things, you know, and that's why it is the biggest. But SIGGRAPH is like just graphics,
NAB's
video games,
bigger for all the Adobe stuff, like After Effects and Premiere. You know, really big there. Not so much at SIGGRAPH.
NAB is like television cameras and audio trucks and satellite dishes, but also software and also graphics. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it does
kind of like IBC. Kind of like IBC.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things where I feel like even though SIGGRAPH is more geared to motion design and motion graphics, I feel like NAB just a lot more people show up.
Yeah,
and it just it feels
it's easier
like
to get there.
Yeah, maybe
cheaper,
that's why.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, we're gonna get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review. It helps get our ratings up. So does subscribing on your podcatcher of choice. Oh, we need to do a newsletter here pretty soon. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Wow. Gosh, that was quick. Gosh, I guess I got to put that out. It's December. When did that happen? All right, got to add that to my to-do.
Have you even started listening to Christmas music yet?
Yeah.
I would have figured, like, as soon as, like, Thanksgiving was over, you would have been in, like, a scarf and, like, a Santa hat, you know.
I don't have to get dressed to listen to Christmas music. But,
yeah, but I know you like getting in the spirit of things, you know.
I do. I started listening.
Your blue cobbler, your blueberry cobbler.
No, man, that's for regular. That's not for the holidays.
Sorry.
No.
That's just for fall, right?
Right. No, I listen to Charlie Brown Christmas soundtrack every morning during the holidays.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I go into the deep cuts after that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think I spent all day yesterday listening to just about every big band Christmas song you could imagine.
Yep.
You know, so Tony Bennett and
What's this year's one?
Sinatra. And,
The big song that's going to be in your head.
oh,
Last
this
year
year?
was Mariah Carey.
That's
all
always,
Mariah
it's
Carey.
always, Mariah Carey is always just an earworm.
I think there was the big meme last year where like making people listen to Mariah Carey for Christmas, you know.
Well, see,
By
right
the way,
now, all I
saw-
have is Skater Boy in my head because you put it in my head this
Sorry.
morning.
Sorry. Shouldn't have said it. It would have been gone. I saw the funniest meme yesterday. I was dying laughing. So, do you follow the subreddit DIY, like WHY? So someone
WHY?
had, yeah, DIWHY, like DIY.
Oh,
you know, like
no.
why are you doing? Someone had glued a toy horse to the back of their cell phone case, right? As like a holder, so that you could hold it with the
Oh my
hold
gosh.
the horse, and it, you know.
Okay.
But they didn't realize that the horse's head was like peeking into the camera. So every picture they took, you had this little horse head in the corner.
Oh my
What a
gosh.
Oh, sorry. Anyway.
Now I gotta see it. I gotta check it out. We'll have to do our favorite subreddits at some point.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There are
yeah.
some really good ones.
Nidia, are you on Reddit? Do you have a favorite subreddit? No.
No,
All right.
I've avoided it. Otherwise, it's like a loop to never get out of it.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it
it's-
is.
I mean, once you subscribe to dank Christian memes, it's all over. So,
That's funny.
updo those spooky skeletons. So,
The time has passed. Come
Oh.
on.
I didn't see a lot of updoing spooky skeletons this
I
year.
didn't see them either. No.
No,
It's a shame.
no, that was October.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And then I don't know. I feel like there's something every month. Well, we know what November was. That's not to be mentioned, but,
Jeez.
yeah, there's like the hydro homies thing for people who just like to
Hydro
drink
homies, yeah.
water.
Yeah.
There's so many weird. It's so weird. Reddit's so weird.
Yeah.
It's a great time waster though. So,
Dave, I just sent it to you so you can look.
what's that? Oh, the horse. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really funny. Why would you do that? Why would you glue a horse to your phone?
I don't know, idiot. I sent it to you in the Skype chat.
Wow. Oh, you sent me the. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Anyway.
Anyway. Nidia, if people want to find you online, where can they find you?
My website, nidias.com. We'll have all the links there, but yeah, you can find me on Instagram with the handle Nidia Dias. Twitter is the same handle, I think.
So that's the letter. That's I am, not
Yeah,
not
and then
I am, but just the letters I am. Okay, cool.
Yes, because someone has already Nidia Dias.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I know, right? And then Behance as well, but that one I don't remember the link. It's not Nidia Dias. I think it's something else. I think it's Nidia dash Dias. I don't know.
I think if you search your name, I mean, you're
I think if you
the
Google.
first person to come up.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the good thing about having a strange first name. Not strange, I like the name, but I mean, it's not common name.
Right.
Not common. It helps.
Kevin Rupp said he
You
just.
type in Nvidia Diaz.
Yeah.
No. Oh yeah, the first thing is actually your website too.
Yeah. There you go.
That's funny.
Kevin Rupp said he just discovered the subreddit "Playing with Fire." That's got to be interesting. I'm gonna go check that out after the show.
That's funny.
Something else to keep me distracted.
Nidia, thanks for being on the show.
We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, I forgot the rest of it. You can say you've been there, done that, got the T-shirt with the Mograph logo tee. Paul Babb, Feel the Bab 2020 shirt. All the profits from that go to Doctors Without Borders. The Render Things T-shirt, hoodie, and long sleeve tee. Now that it's wintertime, make sure you get that. And of course, the That Render is Fire shirt, which you can only wear ironically. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube, Mograph.com. Make sure that you subscribe to all the things and you switch over, because after the new year, the old sites and the old branding will all be completely gone. We won't be doing any simulcast streams anymore. This channel only. So get your subscribe on. Make sure you mash that like and subscribe button. Derp.
Fire.
All right. Well, again, we appreciate you being on. We're going to get out of here and go back to some holiday music. And until next time, I'm Dave.
I'm Matt.
I'm Nidia. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Later, yo.
Do 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 do. Bring up the music. All right, everybody, stop their recordings.
Say episode 210.
210.